What's up, podcast? Before we start today's episode, I just want to make sure that you guys are following and subscribing all of our content at svaofamerica.com/AssistanceHQ. There you can find all of the latest and greatest content, podcasts, articles, and so much more. The link's going to be in the description, so make sure you don't ever miss a piece of content. It's a whole lot of assistance going on. And now, a moment from our sponsor. What's up, Ramblers? Welcome back to another episode of The Ramblings. I'm your host, Angelo Roberts Jr., and we are in for another, I'm not even going to say an amazing episode. Spectacular, always amazing, but another borscht episode. You know, one of those episodes that's like, you have to just put it out there because you have to get the content out there. You have to push it through. It's been I want to say a rough, 2 weeks, but mentally, it's been very draining. Everything going on in the media, everything in the news, everything that's just been happening. We've been inside, I've been grinding in the business, and things have just been blah. You feel me? So I just want to take, this moment in time for you guys on the podcast, quickly, momentarily, to just do a reflective 30 seconds of silence. Okay, we're back. So, how do you feel? What did you think about? What I'm thinking about is everything that's going on right now. A lot of Black people are caught between a rock and a hard place with these riots and protest situations, especially as a business owner, because we understand both sides. We understand as a Black person because we are Black before we are anything else. And so to be Black before anything else means we have to recognize that. Our search bar, Black anything. When you're driving, we're driving while Black. Or no matter what happens with me as a Black American, as me as being a Black person, that just naturally will always be the very first thing that happens. However, for those of us that are also Black business owners, we understand that we are pillars in the community when you think about that. When you look at Black businesses that help support the community, the mom and pop shops, so the plumbers, the electricians, the carpenters, the small store owners. If you go down south, you might get a Black grocery store, and even if it's not a grocery store, you have like the small corner stores that are more like supermarket corner stores. And so as almost pillars within the Black community, and to see these things destroyed as a business person, we understand, that's not cool. We understand why, and we can resonate, but as a business owner, it still hurts. But like we said, we're Black before anything, so burn it down. However, that's where some Black people, we have a cognitive dissonance because we understand, hey, listen, we want change. We need to do things that will activate change. However, we understand that this may not be the way to go about it. And it's just, if you are caught between a rock and a hard place, you have to ask yourself, where do your morals lie? What is your thinking, and why is your thinking towards this? Because I'm not going to say selfish, but as long as it doesn't happen to you. Because I'm sure if you put Black-owned business in front of your store, it may pass a riot. However, due to these situations, you can't necessarily tell. So I definitely can understand the confusion. However, you have to ask yourself, again, where do your morals truly lie? Before anything, you are Black. So what should your reaction be? Or not even should. What is your initial emotion, and why? You have to think, why is that your initial emotion? Because you have to think of their initial emotion when things were I guess we'll take it sweet. When Colin Kaepernick was kneeling, I'd call that pretty much sweet compared to the fact that you are rioting. And here you have to think of the response to a simple kneel in terms of burning shirts, getting rid of jerseys, dropped, career ender. That was the response to something peaceful. So now when it's escalated because the voices feel unheard, what is the purpose of responding? Oh, what? That is called gaslighting. That is exactly what that is. And now you have to ask yourself, what have you fed into the gaslighting? Because which do you feel worse about? Because if you're caught between a rock and a hard place, you have to think about your morals. If you're thinking of it as being caught between a rock and a hard place, you have to think which bothers you more. And if one bothers you more, there's your answer. That's why now you have to again go back and ask yourself, what are your morals? And so even myself, I've had a change in perspective. I was on the fence at one point. Hey, I don't think this is necessarily the right thing to do. And then you sit back, you reflect, and you think, you're like, okay. You start seeing from someone else's perspective and the understanding that, hey, this isn't necessarily, it's not about George Floyd. While it is justice for George Floyd, it is not necessarily directly for George Floyd, because this is the Black Lives Matter movement, which is for all Black lives. And so now you have to ask yourself, if you are caught between a rock and a hard place, where do your morals lie? And so I had to ask myself, okay, yes, where do my morals lie? Even though as a business owner, it bothers me to see other businesses looted, it bothers me tremendously much more, to the point where I could not finish watching the video. It's literally not humane. And so you have to ask yourself, if you can watch the entire video of the cop situation, of the situation, if you can watch the entire video and feel some kind of way, but not feel compelled to speak, yet you feel compelled when you see a protest turn into an escalated situation, you feel the need to go on Twitter and talk about it. Where do your morals lie in that? How can you be caught between a rock and a hard place? So as that perspective changed, and then really asking myself, hey, how did this affect me? It's a huge change in my own perspective. I'm for it. Riots, protests, whatever you want to call it. I don't care if you do call it a riot. I don't care if you call them rioters. Because there have been so many of those in general. So why does this riot make the biggest commotion? Because it's for a cause for Black people? Why does this particular riot, if you will, bring so much negative attention? Not only just attention, but negative attention. Is it because it's, the advancement of Black people? Because any other riot, per se, mentioned in history is held in a very light regard. So where is the energy in holding this to a light regard? Oh, they're just either extremely happy or extremely upset. And guess what? We are extremely upset and are tired of dealing with the unrest. Because we understand that being like Martin, passive, not understood, not heard. Being like Malcolm hurts us internally. You have to understand, like, if you were to be in this particular time, someone like Martin, or even back during that time, Martin Luther King, they peacefully protested. And you see that immediately after, not long after, they were sicked with dogs, hosed down, and attacked. So it hurts to be a Martin kind of person. It also hurts internally to be a Malcolm kind of person, because you are inside filled with so much rage that you are now expelling that in action. And either are both harmful to us. And so that's why we need something effective. And if this is the means of effectiveness, then so be it. With that being said, support Black businesses, man. I'm a Black business. A lot of Black businesses are probably listening to this. I'd say support Black businesses. It's not about right, wrong. It's about doing what's best. Not right, not wrong in the sense, but what is best for the current people that are suffering. And I guess if you want to call it the right thing, call it the right thing. But in everyone's eyes, it's going to be something else. For someone, it may be the wrong thing, and you have to think about that. Is the good of someone else in someone else's eyes considered bad? And you have to accept that, yeah, that's going to happen. So, support Black businesses. Hey Ramblers, before you go, make sure you're following us on social media at Assistance HQ across the board for all content and exclusives. And for an even more personal touch, subscribe to our weekly newsletter with the link in the description.